Hey, my name is Chelsea. I am an assistant to 15-star elite coach Mindy Wender, and I've been working with Mindy for a couple of years now, and we get asked this question a lot of what does your assistant do? So I wanted to take a few minutes just to kind of go over what my daily schedule looks like and what it is that I do. So first of all, if you're in the process of hiring an assistant or you're thinking to yourself, do I need an assistant? A good place to start is to think about the qualities of that person that you're looking for to be your assistant. And I've kind of come up with 3 qualities that I think are really super important when you're in the hiring process. So the first one is that you want somebody who is self-motivated and proactive. So obviously the reason why you are thinking about hiring an assistant is because you are super busy. And you definitely don't want someone that adds more work to your plate, right? So you want to be looking for someone who can take the initiative to get things done, who doesn't need to be micromanaged. The second characteristic that I think you should look for is find somebody with a caretaker personality. And when I say caretaker personality, I just mean that it's a person that cares about other people and really takes their responsibilities seriously. They're really dependable, and usually caretakers are warm and sensitive to other people. They're externally driven, so they're people pleasers. Now, people pleaser isn't always a good thing, but when we're talking about a characteristic of an assistant, it's super helpful to have somebody who is, always looking for ways to help and make your life a little bit easier. And then the third characteristic that I think is really important, and probably one of the most important, is that you need somebody who's really organized, somebody who likes lists and systems. This is going to come into play on a daily basis for them. So you want somebody who really likes creating a system, using a system, maybe using Excel to track things, really sees things in a very organized way. And you really want to find somebody who enjoys doing that because it's a pretty big part of the job. So in my experience, most Beachbody coaches obviously are entrepreneurs. So they're very creative, they think outside the box, they can see the big picture, and they usually have lots of great ideas. And so what they really need, or what you really need, is someone that can be kind of behind the scenes doing that nitty-gritty, black and white, maybe the more mundane aspects of your business that are going to be able to allow you to sort of move forward and do some of those other things that you really excel at. So I think someone who's a type A organized person is going to be kind of that perfect balance for that entrepreneurial side. So those are just 3 characteristics that I think you should keep in mind. A few other things to keep in mind when you are hiring an assistant is that there's really no prerequisite of anything that I think your assistant should need to know how to do before they're hired. Obviously having some experience in computers, having some experience in social media, maybe they use Facebook, maybe they use Instagram already. If they've ever used programs like Excel or PowerPoint, that's really helpful. And if they have any knowledge of software like MailChimp or Constant Contact, that can be really helpful too. But all of those programs are really teachable programs. They're very user-friendly. So I wouldn't let that stop you from hiring someone if they didn't have that experience. Just know that they're going to need the training in those things. Another thing that's even better of a bonus is if you can find somebody who has a background in any kind of office work, really, bookkeeping, office management, just worked in the business world in some way, or maybe has worked in business in the past, because you're creating a brand. And if you have somebody on your team that understands what it takes to create a brand and how much everybody kind of really weighs into that, that's going to help you a lot. I worked as an office manager for a skincare clinic before I started this job, and I really have to say almost all of the things that I learned in that job have really translated over to being a Beachbody assistant. I use almost every single thing that I did there on a daily basis. So another thing to keep in mind is that I do work remotely. I'm in South Carolina and Mindy's in Michigan. And for the 2 years that we've been working together, we've always worked remotely and it's worked really well for us. We're really good at checking in with each other on a daily basis. If nothing else, bare minimum, she gets an email at the end of the day letting her know what I've done, what I haven't gotten done, and then kind of wrapping up what do I need her to get to that maybe I wasn't able to answer, or I wasn't sure of the answer for the person. So we always check in with an email at the end of the day. And you can text back and forth, you can call if that's easier. We usually touch base multiple times a day. So having that open communication obviously really helps if you're going to have an assistant that works remotely. And then as far as hours and salary go, I don't really want to get too much into that because it really is kind of a personal decision. Obviously, depending on where you're at with your Beachbody business, you're going to need more or less help from an assistant. As your business continues to grow, you may need an assistant a lot more hours a week than you did at the very beginning. And that person may be worth more to you at a certain point. So it really depends on what you need, what your needs are, and how much you're willing to do and how much you're willing to pay. So think about how much of an asset that person is to you with your business, and hopefully that will kind of help you, decide how many hours and what the pay scale should be. So let's get into what I do on a daily basis as a Beachbody assistant. I kind of broke down my workload into 4 different categories. So we're going to talk about weekly tasks, daily tasks, monthly tasks, and then things that are kind of extras like occasional special events kind of things. So daily, and these are like non-negotiable daily tasks that have to be done. Number 1 is working out, logging those workouts for your coach. You want to make sure that you're providing motivation to all of your customers. So of course you're working out on a daily basis, but you need to have your assistant go in and log those workouts so that every time that your customers go in to any of your CBCs and they're logging their workouts, they say, hey, my coach worked out today, that's awesome. It's just that little extra step. Emails and Facebook messages, those obviously need to be answered on a daily basis. And I answer those mostly using a template. There's obviously lots of questions that Mindy gets asked over and over and over again. And so she's created templates for me that allow me to answer, half of those emails so that it frees her up to answer the other more personal emails from her coaches and things like that. So creating templates is huge. Obviously, like I said, I email Mindy at the end of every single day. So that's one of my daily tasks. I post to groups. There's a few groups that she runs on Facebook that I am able to post to for her every morning using a template again. And then she can go back, later on in the day and she can kind of follow up if there's any questions or if people left comments or anything like that. But at least she knows that those groups have been posted to for the day. And then I check on new coaches on a daily basis. So I go into all of the CBCs. We're supposed to get email alerts, but sometimes you don't. So I check right in each CBC. And then we have a whole system that we implemented for what happens from day 1 that a new coach signs up. Like, what are they given? What do they need? How do we touch base with them? How do we make sure that they get into all the Facebook groups and everything that they need to be into? So that's also another job that I do daily. And then tracking, there's lots of different things that you can track. It's kind of up to you what you want to be tracking. Mostly it's business presentations. So anytime when you talk to somebody, I make sure that that goes into a document in Evernote. And that way she knows that, she doesn't see that person sign up, or if she hasn't heard from that person in a couple of days, she knows who she needs to be following up with. So that is one of the daily tasks. And then the very last thing isn't quite daily, but I do check the diamonds on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of every week. And that just ensures that everybody is where they need to be rank-wise, and if If there's anyone that Mindy needs to reach out to, talk to, I let her know. So it's something that I just do 3 times a week, not quite daily. And then moving on to weekly tasks. One of the things that I do weekly is a post office run. You might do that more frequently, you might do that less frequently, it just depends. But things like sending out samples, sending out coach gifts, sending out gifts to challengers, things like that. I also write a newsletter weekly that goes out to all of Mindy's customers. And usually it's just something that I've pulled together from the Beachbody website or some other fitness website, you know, recipes, things like that. And that goes out a certain day every week. So you can have your assistant do that. I also write customer thank yous. So anytime that there's a new customer in any of her business centers, they get a personal thank you from us, thanking them for becoming a customer and then directing them to her Facebook page. So it's really important to be driving that traffic there. So we always want to do that. I track rake advancements. So every Thursday morning, I check and see who's advanced, and I let Mindy know because she obviously is going to want to give a shout out to that person, reach out to them, congratulate them, possibly do a gift. So making sure that I check those on a weekly basis. And then pulling reports, which is where using Excel is going to come into play. I pull reports for Success Club, top recruiters, and top producers, and you just have to make sure that you have your assistant do those on the same day every single week. And I can get more into how those reports are pulled later. So, and then monthly, I do a couple different things monthly, and it can really vary from month to month. There might be team emails, there might be coaching groups. You might be able to have your assistant schedule things using Hootsuite for your social media posts that far in advance. You could do, you could have your assistant do monthly reports for top recruiters, Success Club, and top producers. So pulling everything for the entire month to give shout outs for people. And then I always make sure that I update our MailChimp or constant contact list once a month. And I just do that because any new customers or any new coaches that may have slipped through the cracks, I always want to make sure that I upload all the information. So they're making, so I make sure that they're getting all the appropriate emails. And then some of those kind of occasional or special event type tasks are ordering or working with the designers for a team apparel, like if we're making a t-shirt or a tank top, or if we're ordering water bottles, things like that. I can kind of be in control of going back and forth with the designers on that. If there's training programs, obviously new product launches creates a lot of emails and things that need to be done to help with that. So if, you know, those definitely aren't even like a monthly task. It's kind of something that happens a couple times a year, but it's good to, you know, have your assistant be in the loop and know how they can help you with those types of things. And then for events like Summit, or if you're doing coach retreats or anything, I can help with, you know, everything from reservations to purchasing the gifts for the coaches, setting up dinners, setting up cocktail hours, kind of going back and forth with any like presentations or trainings, anything that you're going to need to be able to do those, renting the rooms, setting up the audio-visual kind of stuff. So for those times of year, there's, you know, a little bit more that can go into it as far as from an assistant standpoint. So that was just kind of a general overview. Your assistant might do more, your assistant might do less. So I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what I do and what really works for Mindy and I. I am also going to be coming out with some new training modules that will really help any new assistants, or if you're in the process of hiring an assistant, like I said, it will help to get them trained. And I'll be available to them if they need to do like a one-on-one call, or if they need to email and ask me questions. So I'm hoping to get that launched this spring. And if you are interested in that at all and getting your assistant trained by me, you can go ahead and email me. My email is Chelsea, CHELSEA, .virtualassistant@gmail.com. And that way I will get you added to my email list. And I'll make sure that you are the first to know when those trainings are available. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for listening.